status quo. Yes, we live in a democracy, but they own that democracy. They spend tens of billions of dollars on campaign contributions to both major political parties in order to buy politicians who will do their bidding. They spend billions more on lobbying firms to influence governmental decisions at the federal, state, and local levels. That is why, over the last 50 years, we have consistently seen public policy that benefits the very rich at the expense of everyone else. Yes, we have freedom of speech and a free press, but to a significant degree, the oligarchs own that media. That is why the personalities they employ on TV, radio, newspapers, and social media do not ask embarrassing questions and rarely raise issues that will undermine the privileged position of their employers. That's why, despite the many thousands of television networks, radio stations, and websites they own, there is little public discussion about the power of corporate America and how oligarchs wield that power to benefit their interests at the expense of working families. The good news is that while the oligarchs and the institutions they control work frantically to maintain the status quo, we are now beginning to see cracks in the system. Millions of Americans are starting to look at the society in which they live from a new and different perspective. They are beginning to think big, not small. They are asking hard questions and demanding answers that take them beyond the incremental politics and mainstream ideology of today. Many of them are finding answers in union organizing as they seek a greater say in their workplaces, along with better wages, benefits, and working conditions. Taking on the economic and political establishment. I know a little bit about all of this, having run two of the most progressive grassroots campaigns for president in modern American history. In 2016, my campaign shocked the political establishment by winning 22 states and more than 13 million votes in the Democratic primaries, where I took on the party's anointed candidate. That's not what was supposed to happen. That's not what the big money interests wanted. That's not what the corporate media wanted. That's not what super PACs and wealthy campaign contributors wanted. That's not what the superdelegates wanted. But that's what happened. 4 years later, in 2020, we won the popular vote against a huge field of candidates in the first three Democratic primary states, Iowa, New Hampshire, and Nevada. The result, a panicked political establishment came together behind Joe Biden, the one candidate they thought could beat us. The other candidates were asked to drop out. The most important lesson of those campaigns was not just the list of states that we won, as we took on the greed and recklessness of the ruling class, or the total number of votes we received. More important was where the votes were coming from. They were coming in overwhelming numbers from young people under 40, the future of our country. In state after state and in national polls, we won the support of young Americans by landslide proportions. These voters, Black, white, Latino, Asian American, Native American, understood from their lived experience that America's uber-capitalist system was not working for them. It was not working for them economically, as they were experiencing a lower standard of living than their parents. It was not working for them from an environmental perspective, as they faced a planet that was growing increasingly unhealthy and uninhabitable as a result of climate change. It was not working for them in terms of ending the kinds of systemic racism, sexism, homophobia, and xenophobia that they detested. During our campaigns, millions of young people in this country made it clear they wanted change, real change. These Americans understand that proposals that tinker around the edges are an insufficient response to the enormous crises we face. For them, there is a rapidly growing recognition that this country has deep, systemic problems, and that it is not good enough to deal only with the symptoms of the problem. We have got to get to the root causes. We have to confront the destructiveness of modern-day uber-capitalism. We have got to change the system. While polling shows that a majority of Americans